Hello everyone and thank you for patiently waiting. My name's Josh from Career Map TV and I'll be your host. Today we're joined by Aldi, who are going to talk to you about apprenticeships. We do have a dedicated Q&A section at the end, so please feel free to pop any questions in the chat box as we go through. So without further ado, I'll now pass it over.
Right, so thank you so much for joining today's session, which is all about why our apprenticeships are an amazing option if you want to jump headfirst into the world of work and achieve a nationally recognised qualification, all while getting paid. So let's make a start with some brief introductions. So I'm Christina and we've also got Kelly here with us. Although I think she's having some technical issues. Apologies. She's just trying to turn her camera on. And together we are Aldi's apprenticeships team. So we're both based in the HR department in Bolton and we've got around 14 years experience working for Aldi between us. Kelly maybe could try dialing out and dialing back in, or okay. So today we'll be talking to you about the apprenticeship opportunities available at Aldi, so what we can offer you, who our ideal candidate is, as well as sharing some handy tips for applying. Plus we have a very special VIP guest with us today, our 2024 Apprentice of the Year winner, the incredible Molly Collins. Before we get going, we'd just like to share a fun fact that not many people are aware of. Did you know that our brand name Aldi actually comes from two words? So that's Albrecht and discount. So we will explain more on the next slide. And unfortunately, Kelly's still having issues, so you're stuck with myself for the time being.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
If you're having any technical issues, the best way to fix that is just either refresh the page or leave and join via the same link, just by closing the tab, if that's okay.
Oh, she can't hear anything.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. It might be a case of a headset malfunction or something like that.
Yeah, it's just muted everything, unfortunately. So have you unmuted yourself? Can people hear you? No one can hear you. So sorry about that. She might try dialing in again. So onto our history. So as a business, we're really passionate about sharing our story, which started around 100 years ago, actually, back in 1913, when a family called the Albrechts opened their first store in Essen, which is a city in Germany. And it was from this first store in Essen that the family's two children, Carl and Theo, expanded the business into the brand that you know today. And we're actually the fourth largest supermarket in the UK currently. So the Albrecht stores were really popular in Germany, and by the 1960s they had so many stores it was hard to keep up with the names of all of their store managers, as there were too many of them. But the brothers saw a great opportunity and began opening new stores in other European countries too. But it wasn't actually until 1990 that the first Aldi store hit the UK, which feels like a very long time ago now. Our brand, as you can see, has come a long way since its creation, and we've had quite a lot of logo changes over the years as well. But one thing that hasn't changed is our approach to business, which is always to keep things as simple as possible. So to give you a quick example, if you've ever visited one of our stores, you might notice that some of our products are displayed on pallets. And there's a reason for this. Not only does it save time stacking shelves, but it also means our store teams are free to do other important jobs like serving our customers. Okay, so what goes on behind the scenes? So now you know a bit about us and how far we've come, we'd like to give you a bit of a sneak peek into how our UK business is structured. So we have at Aldi 11 regions in total, which are split across England, Scotland and Wales. And each of these regions has a regional distribution centre, or an RDC, as we like to call them for short. And each RDC houses a warehouse and also an office. And to give you an idea of the scale, our Bolton Region's RDC, which is where I'm based, has 8,600 solar panels on its roof. Alongside this, each region also has its own group of stores, so that's around 100 stores per region. And our head office is located in our Atherstone region. So my geography is not great, but that's in the Midlands. And this is where most of our office colleagues work, such as our buying teams, IT and finance teams. And each area of the business really has to make an impact. And it's amazing how many colleagues are involved in getting our products from our suppliers all the way to our customers' shopping baskets. So yeah, I think Kelly's still having issues, so I'll do the next slide as well. So we've recently been crowned which cheapest supermarket of the year for the 4th year in a row, and that definitely deserves a round of applause. I hope you agree. But as well as being a brilliant supermarket to shop with, we're also a great company to work for. And here are just a few reasons why. So we offer an amazing market-leading benefits package, which includes discounts on gym memberships, cinema tickets, holidays, as well as fantastic salaries, and we'll come to that in a moment. All Team Aldi colleagues have access to our wellbeing programme too, which provides support across 5 key areas of wellbeing, including a 24/7 wellbeing helpline. And if you're environmentally and socially conscious, then you'll be pleased to hear that we have an amazing team who continually look at improving Aldi's environmental impact, such as reducing plastic and packaging waste. And we also work with some amazing charities, such as the Teenage Cancer Trust, who we've raised well over £10 million for today, I believe. And finally, we're really proud to be ranked a top 100 apprenticeship employer. Last year, we were awarded position 25 in the top 100, and that was actually the highest position gained by a supermarket retailer that year. Okay, so I guess you might want to know what opportunities we've got available. So we've got apprenticeship vacancies available across the UK. That can help you to kickstart your career in retail. And no matter the path that you take, you'll get real opportunities, amazing benefits, and a cracking career to boot. And actually, many of our apprentices have gone on to have incredible lifelong careers at Aldi and even progressed into management roles. But what exactly is an apprenticeship? Some of you may know already, some of you may be a completely new term. So apprenticeships help you to gain nationally recognised qualifications with support from industry experts, and it's all while working on the job and getting paid by an employer, which is really great. Apprentices spend most of their time working for that employer, doing tasks that are relevant to the role that they were hired for. But alongside this, they also undertake something called off-the-job training, and that is usually for a minimum of 6 hours every week. Now, off-the-job training, it can include a whole mix of activities. So it might be completing some online learning, undertaking some practical training, like shadowing a more experienced member of staff, or maybe spending time in another store or another department to see how things work there. We're currently on the lookout for friendly and motivated people with bags of common sense to join Team Aldi on our store and our warehouse apprenticeships. And you never know, the next person could be you. And no matter the path that you choose, you'll get real hands-on practical experience and the theoretical knowledge you need to build a successful career in retail. You get mentoring support from our world-class colleagues and a designated training provider, so you have the skills and the confidence you need to hit the ground running too. And of course, you get that paid time to study, so no matter which programme you choose. See, Kelly's going in and out, trying to join us, so sorry about that, everyone. So on to the next slide now. So store operations apprenticeship. So I look after all our store ops programs. So if you want to earn and learn trolley loads with Aldi, then we think you'll love our store apprenticeships. If you've got no qualifications or previous experience, then we want to hear from you. Our Stores Career Starter programme is a brilliant way to kickstart your career and, of course, achieve an industry recognised qualification, all while getting paid. Alongside store assistant training that you'll complete, you'll also work towards a level a level 2 retailer qualification, which is equivalent to 5 GCSE passes, and you'll also have chance to complete functional skills qualifications in English and Maths too, if you didn't achieve these at school, for instance, or have passes in those. So that's amazing. But maybe you are an aspiring manager who has some GCSEs in English and Maths at grade 4 or above, or something equivalent. Then look no further. Our store management apprenticeship provides a structured career path to help you develop into a leader of the future. And our VIP guest, Molly, who's here with us today, is going to tell you a bit more about her experience on that programme. So you'll work towards achieving 2 industry recognised qualifications with this programme. And again, all while learning on the job and getting paid. In your first year, you'll complete the Stores Career Starter programme before then moving on to Deputy Store Manager training and working towards achieving a Level 3 Retail Team Leader qualification. And if all goes well, at the end of the apprenticeship, there'll be opportunity for you to continue your journey with Aldi on a permanent contract, either as a store assistant or a deputy store manager, for example. I don't know if Kelly have you got access now?
Hello, can everyone hear me? Amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone. Thank you for having us. I don't mind covering the next part of the presentation, Christina, which is our warehouse programs. So moving on from our stores programs is our warehouse operations apprenticeships. So we also have opportunities in warehouse operations, and all our apprentices for these programs are based in our regional distribution centres, or we like to call them our RDCs, and our warehouses are huge. Our 12 to 15 month warehouse career starter programme gives you a real and rare insight into the logistics industry. It's really exciting. You'll learn all about how our products get from our suppliers to our customers' shopping baskets as you work towards a level 2 supply chain operative qualification. And for this programme, there's no previous experience or qualifications that are required, and you'll get £11.18 an hour, which is £335.40 a week. So once you've successfully completed your apprenticeship, there will hopefully be an opportunity for you to move on to one of our permanent contracts within our warehouse. So that could be as a warehouse selector or a logistics assistant. But the great thing is that once you're in Aldi, there are other apprenticeship opportunities that you might be able to explore at some point, such as our Level 3 Team Leader programme or our maintenance programmes as well. So there is that option as well once you are in Aldi, which is amazing. There's sometimes opportunity for our store and warehouse colleagues as well to apply for what we call our Aisles to Miles and Warehouse to Wheels programme when there are openings throughout the year. And that is, if your application is successful, you'll learn how to drive one of our big lorries as a driver apprentice and potentially earn £14.41 per hour, which is higher than our externally advertised rate. So some really exciting opportunities in our warehouses as well. And then moving on to the next section. So who are we looking for? So hopefully we've whet your appetite with the roles that we've talked about on our programmes, and that you're actually interested now in applying for one of our vacancies. So we are on the lookout for friendly, passionate, flexible, driven and reliable people to join Team Aldi as an apprentice. So if you're really keen and really eager to learn, open to doing shift work and interested in building a career in the fascinating world that is retail, then you're halfway there. We're here to support you throughout your application process as well, and we can make reasonable adjustments to help you during the recruitment process too. So if you have a visual impairment, a specific learning difficulty, for example, dyslexia, or any other disability, then we can provide materials maybe in a larger font or provide you with additional time for assessments Just make sure that when you do complete your application form that you are disclosing and mentioning the need for a reasonable adjustment, and that the team then can really help you defining what adjustments we can provide to make that process the best process that we can for you. And then passing back to Christina now.
Yeah, brilliant. So we're now really proud to introduce our VIP guest. So Molly, if you're there, if you can switch your camera on, hopefully no
Hello,
technical issues.
everybody.
Yes, brilliant. Yeah, so this is Molly, and she won our coveted Apprentice of the Year award last year and achieved our store management apprenticeship. That's the 3-year programme with flying colours. And Molly's journey with Aldi has been nothing short of inspiring, and she's already seamlessly transitioned into her new role of Deputy Store Manager at our Cramlington store, taking on greater responsibilities with confidence and skill. So let's meet Molly. So Molly, we'd like to get to know you a bit better with some quick fire questions if you're ready.
Yeah,
So time travel to the past or the future?
definitely the past.
What did you last binge on Netflix?
The Night Agent.
Oh. What was your last impulse buy?
An air fryer. From Aldi.
Oh, from Aldi as well. A night in or a night out?
Night out still.
Yeah. And who's your favourite Disney character?
Ooh. Probably Mickey Mouse. Basic, but probably Mickey Mouse.
And favourite go-to snack?
Ooh. Oh, I've got a few, to be fair. Putting us on the spot. Probably what we sell, the little mini digestives in the little packets.
Oh, yes, they're good. Very good. Right, well, I feel like I know you so much better now, but let's hear a bit about yourself and your journey. So can you tell us a bit about your journey with Aldi as a store management apprenticeship?
Yeah, I joined Aldi nearly 4 years ago now as an apprentice. I did just the normal retail apprenticeship level 2, which was absolutely great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You've got all the support around you. And then I carried on, did really well, passed that apprenticeship with flying colours, and I had the option to do it a level 3, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give it a go, because I really enjoyed the first one, because you're not just learning, like, you're getting paid for it as well, whereas if you went to study, you're not going to get paid for that, so it was a completely different scenario. And then I progressed to me level 3 in store management, and I absolutely loved it. And I've now obviously won Apprentice of the Year, amazing. So from June last year, I've been a deputy store manager. Absolutely thrilled. Like, it was just overwhelmed with feelings. The amount of support that Aldi give you and the resources that they provide you is amazing. All the team you work with is amazing. Everybody supports you. And I didn't know any other supermarket that had apprenticeships for retail. I hadn't even heard of it until I knew Aldi did, and I was like, oh, I'm going to give it a go, and it is amazing, because if you put the work in, you will get what you want out of it. And now I've just been moved to the Ashton store to get trained to be an assistant manager, so it's all happening. It's all happening in my little world.
Yeah, super exciting, Molly. Yeah, you should be so proud. Can I ask, why did you apply for our apprenticeship programme in particular?
If I'm honest, at the time it was the pay rate, because Aldi always pay more specifically for apprentices than a national minimum wage, and I feel like that does entice quite a lot of people in. But for the work environment for Aldi, you work for your buddy. It made me realise at the time, so I'm glad I made that choice.
And did you have any work experience in retail before you applied, or was it all completely new to you?
Food retail was new. I had a part-time job at WH Smith in Newcastle, just like working weekends while I was still at sixth form, but food retail was completely new to me. I didn't know anything about it.
And I think you've already kind of covered the support that you've got, from your team, from your manager, which is great. And how was your relationship with the training provider?
Oh, amazing. My provider, especially my coach that I had, you see them about twice a week because they are quite interactive with you, obviously with your exams and your learning. We had video calls as well. I had a really good relationship with her, and it sounds weird, but you're not just a client to them. She made me feel special, that she generally cared about my future, and I think that makes a massive difference when you work with somebody like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Do you feel like they helped you to develop any skills in particular, although the programme helped you to develop?
I think it all helped me, to be fair. When I first joined Aldi, I was actually quite a shy and relaxed person. I didn't know time management. I wasn't efficient. There's just so many things, and it's brought me out my shell, and I'm just a completely different person. It's for the best. I've learned a lot of skills, definitely.
Yeah, the number of times we hear that actually,
Yeah,
people who start maybe not feeling confident, and then by the end of the programme really have come into their
yeah.
own, which is really nice. So how did it feel? Obviously, the sort of climax of your journey in a way was winning the Apprentice of the Year award. So how did that feel, and what have you been up to since winning the award?
I've had a lot going on. I didn't realise how much happens when you win the award. I still can't believe it, to be honest. I know it was last year, but I still can't get over it. The reactions just from family, friends, and especially the team and the management team was unbelievable. Like, I was with my manager at the time, and we both just jumped up and like was screaming. It was amazing. I've had photos taken. I've obviously been in the Northumberland Gazette, as you can see on the screen. Just getting photos, getting messages off loads of area managers saying they would like to meet us and they would like us in their shop. My name is just plastered everywhere, and it's nice to be recognised for how much hard work you do and how much you actually put into it. It just gives you that something back as well.
Yeah, no, you definitely have been a very special apprentice for us, for sure. So what are your career aspirations for the future then? Obviously, you now settled into your deputy store manager role. What do you want to go on to do?
I think I want to be a store manager, 100%. I just like the Aldi management structure, and I like the support that Aldi gives you. And all area managers that I've worked with, if you want to progress, they'll help you get there. They'll give you all the support. So definitely store manager.
And have you got any advice for to our attendees here today who might be interested in applying for one of our apprenticeships?
Yeah, definitely. The best bit of advice I could give people is apprenticeships are great, but you need to put in the hard work to get where you are, and you do need to make a few sacrifices. But I mean, I'm 22 and like my career's going great. Like, if you put the hard work in, it's going to be worth it. So don't, even if you're having a hard time and struggling, thinking this isn't for me, just sit and take your time and use the support around you, because all management teams are so aware of the apprenticeship programme. They will sit and support you. You really need to use the support around you.
Yeah, that's really wise advice, because it's really tough, isn't it, knowing what you want
It
to
is
do?
hard,
And
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's so insightful, Molly. And this is a hard one, but in one word, can you sum up your experience as a store management apprentice?
Exhilarating.
Oh, wow, I like that.
Yeah.
It's fast paced. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots to do to keep you busy.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I'm sure everybody else has. It's been absolutely fantastic having you here. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well,
Bye, everybody.
I'll hand over to Kelly.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you so much for Molly for joining us today. That was so interesting to find out about her journey with us and her experiences, and share it with you all today that's joined. We hope that everyone else really found that useful and enjoyed meeting Molly as well. So moving on to our virtual work experience program. So if you're feeling inspired and interested in applying for one of our apprenticeships, then to help you out, we've introduced a brand new free virtual work experience program, which we are super excited about. You'll learn about what happens behind the scenes at Aldi and increase your understanding of the different business areas too, before really deep diving into our apprenticeship opportunities. And at the end of the programme, you'll even get a certificate as well, which you can download. So if in the future you did apply for a role at Aldi, then you can take along your certificate to your interview, which really is an impressive way of showing that you've done your research. A QR code is displayed on the screen. However, if you did go and visit aldirecruitment.co.uk and go to our apprenticeships page, you'll find the link there as well. That'll take you straight through to the programme, and typically takes around 3 to 5 hours to complete, but you don't have to complete it in one full sitting. You can do it at your own pace as and when you want to do that as well. So again, head over and complete our virtual work experience programme with us, and that's available right now. So moving on to the last slide. So if you want to earn a lot while you learn with one of Britain's fastest growing retailers and get real opportunities and even better benefits, then head over to our recruitment site now to find out more and apply. So opportunities are typically open all year around, but availability really does depend on location. So that's it for in terms of our content today. We really hope you found today's session helpful, even if it's just to give you a bit of an inspiration or an idea about what opportunities are available. And we really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with whatever career path you choose. But I think if we do have questions, I think handing back over to you, Josh, for the Q&A.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I just want to say thank you, for going through that presentation as well as you did. That was some great information there. So yeah, as you clearly stated, we're now moving into the Q&A section of the webinar. We've got plenty of time, so hopefully we get through loads and loads of questions. I can see we are being a little bit shy in the chat function, so please feel free to start putting your questions in there, and we'll go through them one by one.
Can we bring, if Molly's still there, I don't know if you are still there, Molly, but if you want to turn your camera up just in case there's any questions that are for you and not for us.
Yeah, no,
Fab.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, while we wait for people to stop being so shy, I suppose I've got a question in terms of, I think you did mention it briefly. I'd just like a little bit kind of more expanding, if that's okay, just in terms of the support that you get as you go through maybe in the applying process, and when you are successful, what kind of support is around you as someone that is quite new to an apprenticeship role, if that makes sense.
Do you want to take before and I'll do after?
Yeah, I can do before. So I think we offer obviously a lot of support beforehand. So I think a good start, which we get fed back quite a lot and asked a lot about work experience. So I think by supporting a lot of young people, by giving that virtual work experience really does support in terms of giving you that insight into retail before you actually do go on to then apply. Then when we get to the application stage, as I mentioned throughout the presentation, we are aware that we have a lot of neurodiverse candidates applying, which we welcome. We welcome anyone from any background, which is the beauty of our programmes. So in terms of reasonable adjustments, if you did have, like I mentioned in the presentation, it could be dyslexia. If you did have anything that you did need adjustments to make that process easier and the best experience as well for the candidate, then please disclose that on your application form. I think as a recruitment team, I've been part of the recruitment team as well, and we are so wanting to put in those adjustments for candidates to make sure that the process is the best experience possible. So please be putting them down. A member of the recruitment team will contact you directly and they will talk you through what adjustments can be put in place for you. So I think there is a lot of support even before applying, to then doing your application form, to then being on programme. Which do you want to cover, Christina? I think with Molly as well.
Yeah, I'll briefly cover it because I can see we've got some more Q&As come in and maybe some in the chat as well. So yes, you've got an allocated learning coach. You'll meet up with them once every month, a mix of virtual and face-to-face. And then obviously you have catch-ups with your store manager as well. Molly, do you want to bring it to life a little bit about the support that you got?
Yeah. You do obviously get a lot of support from your apprenticeship coach. They do also have a work mobile phone as well. So even if it's out of hours or anything like that, and you're sat worrying about an exam or you're unsure about some of your coursework, you can always text them and they'll answer straight away. And yeah, your store manager also has access to all of your coursework online as well. So if you were unsure, you could sit down with them and just say, "Oh, what's your opinion on this? Do you think I can have a hand?" Your store manager has access to everything that you have access to, so you're both on the same page at all the time.
Yeah, perfect, amazing. So I see that lots of questions are starting to fly through. That's amazing. So we'll just fly through them if that's okay with you guys. So the next question is, how old do you need to be to apply?
Yeah, so you have to be a minimum of 16 years old at the start of your apprenticeship. So you could technically apply before then. You just need to make sure you are 16 when you start.
Yeah, perfect. And then the next question is, having A levels more beneficial for any of the apprenticeships?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. I mean, obviously it's great if you've got them, you've got those qualifications and skills, but for our career starter and a store management program, and Kelly can speak for warehouse operations, we don't require A levels, but of course it's brilliant if you have got them and it looks great on your application.
Perfect. And I suppose I'd expand that to like work experience as well. Obviously, it's not going to put you at any detriment if you don't, but it's not going to do any harm if you've got that on your CV, if that makes sense. But perfect. We'll move on to the next one. And do you do any apprenticeships in marketing or buying?
Do you want me to take that one? Yeah. So we have done some previously in buying, and we've also done some in our supply chain teams. We don't have any at the moment that are live, but when they do become available, all the apprenticeship programs for those teams are advertised on our website. So I think the biggest tip that we can give is just keep your eye on the opportunities that are coming live. I think you can still register your interest as well for some programs. So if there isn't a vacancy at the minute that you're interested in, you can register your details, and as soon as those opportunities do become live, you get notification straight away to then apply.
Yeah, perfect. Please don't be alarmed. I'm just shifting us out of the way because I saw that we were in the way of the link there. But yeah, perfect. I'd kind of expand that into anybody that is asking about certain roles, or if they're eligible for this role. The best thing you can do is do your research in probably via that link that I've just moved us out of the way of. That'll have all the answers there. Obviously, we'd love to answer every single question. But I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of on a one-to-one basis of what's your background and see what we can apply you to, if that makes sense. Perfect. So yeah, we'll move on to the next question. Is it possible to apply for an apprenticeship that you don't live nearby if you'll be willing to relocate?
Oh, yeah, good question. Well, yes, if you are willing to relocate and that's something you're, comfortable with doing, then yes, absolutely. Our buying apprenticeships, they're all based in Atherstone, our head office, but our stores, we've got stores all over the UK, so hopefully actually you wouldn't need to relocate for those programs. Hope that helps.
Yeah, perfect. And the next question is, how long is the duration of each apprenticeship? Because personally, I know that some apprenticeships can be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Is that the case here as well?
Yeah, so it just depends on which program it is that you're applying for. The ones that we covered today as part of the presentation, so our career starter in stores and our career starter in the warehouse, typically is around your 12 to 15 months. If it is your store management program that you're looking at, that is a longer program, typically around 3 years. And again, it just depends on what program it is that you're applying for that will determine the length. But details on duration is always included on the website and the advertisement, so you'll always have that information before you apply. So yeah, it typically depends on the program that you're interested in.
Perfect. And that goes hand in hand with, doing your research as well. And just starting that dialogue as well. If you are generally interested, just open a dialogue and get the questions you need, ask them directly. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, we'll quickly move on. So there's a couple of questions involved in this, so we'll just do it one by one. Can you apply to multiple vacancies for the store management apprenticeship?
I don't believe you can. I think you can only apply for one vacancy at a time.
Yeah, perfect. And how do you get recognised for the Apprentice of the Year? So I think this is a bit more of a what did you do to get recognised question.
Aldi, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take it. I think you need to show how dedicated and motivated you are to your own career. Like, nobody but yourself can make you achieve to be Apprentice of the Year. Yeah, I would just say you need to work really, really hard and show how much you aspire to be what you want to be in the future. Yeah, and just continue to use all the support around you as well, because that will continue to push you and be like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do this. You just need to show the right motivation.
Yeah, perfect. So the next one is, how long does the application process take? Is there like a fixed amount of time, or is it a case of you can apply in, say, X amount of months and that's what you aim for, if that makes sense?
For our store programs, I know sometimes, for instance, we might have applications come through around this time of year, and the apprenticeship won't actually start till September. So obviously that's quite a long process, but that's obviously because the candidate is wanting to start their apprenticeship in September. So it's really flexible. Obviously we try to process applications throughout the process as quickly as possible, get you booked in for an interview or assessment, Aldi experience as much as we can. But yeah, it really just depends when you're looking to start. Kelly, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to mention that it's not a really long application form. So it really is up to the person applying how much time they spend on it. But I think what makes a good application form stand out is when you have done your research, you can really tell when you're reading that application form if someone's genuinely interested in retail and apprenticeship and Aldi. So I'd definitely say put your research in, but always just get somebody to sense check your application as well before you submit it. Something as simple as having a second pair of eyes really does help, whether that's just to make sure what you've included in your application form reads well, you've got your points across. It's just always good to have that second pair of eyes, and not just to rush. Take your time. I think that's the best tips when it comes to filling out our application.
Yeah, perfect. And then just the final question is, are the working hours fixed at 30 hours for the apprentices? Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd imagine that's a apprentice by apprentice kind of role that will change. I'm not too sure exactly, so please someone enlighten.
Yeah, so for stores and warehouse, it's 30 hours. Obviously, if you're applying for an apprenticeship in a national department, then those hours may increase. But typically, we're looking at 30 hours for our stores and our warehouse programs.
Yeah, perfect. And this next question is, how old do you have to be to apply for an apprenticeship?
Yeah, so as long as you're 16 when you start your apprenticeship, you can apply, obviously, if you're, say, in the final year of school. And just to call out, somebody has said that we mentioned buying an apprenticeship is there a reason why this wasn't covered? That is it. We didn't focus today on that because we're not actively recruiting for that role. We tend to recruit annually, once a year, around summertime. So you can always go onto our website, register your interest, and when a vacancy does become available, you'll get notified. But yeah, that's why we didn't cover it today.
Perfect. Apologies for skipping your question. I'm losing my track of space in here. No problem at all. And thank you for calling me out on that one. Perfect. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a look. I've lost my place again. Not very professional, is it? So the next question, I hope, please correct me if I'm wrong, is, can school leavers have volunteering jobs? So I'm guessing it's someone leaving school. Is there like volunteer roles that are open, or is it primarily just apprenticeship roles?
Yeah, so typically you're looking at apprenticeship roles. If you are a school leaver, obviously, like we've covered today, the beauty of the programs is that they don't require any previous experience, so are a really good option for a school leaver, especially if you've got no work experience. In terms of volunteering, we don't do any volunteering, but it might be work experience that you're interested in. Some of our stores do offer work experience if they can accommodate it in the store. So if it was work experience that you're interested in, then I'd probably reach out to your local store and inquire directly with them to see if it is something that they can accommodate. And then if not, we obviously have our virtual work experience program, which you can tap into as well. But we don't offer work experience face-to-face in our warehouses just due to health and safety restrictions. So it typically is your stores that you'd be looking at if that is something of interest.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll move on to the next one.
Can I just pull out one? Maybe you're going to come to it, but somebody said, if I'm in college, do I still need proof of the GCSE if I'm not from the UK? So for our Stores Career Starter programme, you don't need any qualifications. However, when you do go through the onboarding process with the training provider, they will ask if you have any GCSEs, and they'll ask for any certificates that you might have. So equivalents do count. So it really depends on the certificate. So always mention it on your application form, but the training provider will certainly explore all your qualifications in a lot more detail so that they can just go through all the requirements with you properly.
Yeah.
And in terms of eligibility as well, just to flag, you have to have been a UK, a EU or an EAA resident for the past 3+ years from the date you would start your apprenticeship. So you can't be an overseas national or subject to employment restrictions, and you must have left full-time education, and not have completed a similar qualification at the same level or above as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. So yeah, we'll move on to the next one, and a nice simple one. Where do we apply?
It's on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, easy question.
Perfect. So yeah, this is actually quite a good question. Is what does a typical day look like for being an apprenticeship in store?
Molly?
Every day is just for store level. It's just learning how the store functions on a day-to-day basis. So you've got your deliveries, obviously depending on your age, because I know the stores that I work in, unless you're 18, you don't get till trains, because you can't serve alcohol, paracetamol. A manager would have to come and approve it. So some stores might differentiate only slightly, but just the day-to-day runnings of the business, deliveries, tidying, customer service is a massive one that you'll learn. That you actually get a lot of coursework on that as well. Interaction with the team, working together as a team, especially if you've never had a job before as well, if it's your first job. Just team building your team together as well is massive.
Yeah, perfect. And I suppose a little expansion on that as well. Have you got like a favourite memory from working in the store? Not to put you on the spot or anything, but
actually, yeah, and you're all gonna laugh, right? So it was my 3rd day, right? And I was on ambient deliveries. So anyone who doesn't know, ambient deliveries is anything that's not fresh. So like your eggs and your tins and things like that. And I tipped a whole pallet of eggs on the floor. And everybody came running over and was just like absolutely crying their eyes out with laughter. And I'll never forget it because it was so funny. And everybody still brings it up as well now. It's
You had egg on your face.
perfect. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I believe the next couple of questions we have answered. So I'm just going to move down to the question asked by Nikki. And I suppose it's in terms of the pay structure on an apprenticeship, if you're okay to kind of delve into that a little bit.
Yeah, on pay, I would say all our salaries were very transparent. So all of our salaries are on our website. So using the link that's on the screen, you can have a look across all of our roles, what the salaries are. So yeah, hope that answers the question.
Yeah, perfect. So I believe we have actually gone through all the questions that are in the chat box. Please feel free. We've still got around 15 minutes of time to answer any questions that do come through. So I suppose I've got another question. In terms of stigmas around working in an apprenticeship and everything like that, what was your biggest surprise, maybe on your first day, maybe, 6 months into it? what was like the biggest surprise for you working at an Aldi apprenticeship?
I think the massive thing was like age doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if you're applying for an apprenticeship at 16 or like 40. It does not matter because everybody treats you the same. Because I thought when I joined Aldi, because of my age, they might be thinking, oh, she's not going to know what she's doing. She's just going to have no idea. No, it's completely different to that. The work environment, and I've worked in a few stores now, the work environment everywhere is just perfect. Like, you're all just a team. And I was really taken back by the support and the relationships and the friendships that you make.
Yeah, perfect, amazing. And you mentioned working in multiple stores. Is that kind of fitted into the course on the apprenticeship? Like, you go around visiting other stores, see how they do it. Maybe they do it a little bit different, or is it something like an opportunity came up that you can do like a couple of days there or something like that? Do you mind sharing that experience? Yeah,
a bit of both actually. Obviously, it depends if you drive as well. But there's loads of opportunities for situations like that. When I was apprentice, I only went to 2 other stores, but it was just to help out because they were like short on staff, and I thought this is an opportunity to go see a different store, go see new people. But there is always opportunity for that, especially things like doing that inventory. For anyone who doesn't know what inventory is, just stock take, counting all the stock and things like that. But there's always opportunities everywhere. And if you're an apprentice and you want to get far in Aldi, the best advice I can give you is get your name out there so people know who you are.
And I suppose you could expand that to kind of life as it is anyway. If
an opportunity
definitely comes up, there's nothing stopping you from throwing yourself at it and making the most of it. But yeah, anyway, perfect. Thank you for that. I can see.
Sorry, I was going to say in the chat there are some questions as well. So one of them was, "Hi, from which university these programs are recognised?" So. We do have a university that we work with for our National Supply Chain Management degree apprenticeship, which we just launched last year. But otherwise, we work with training providers. So for store operations, we work with Lifetime training. And then Kelly, do you want to say your training providers for warehouse?
Yeah, so for warehouse, we work with a provider called GLP. We work with National Logistics Academy that look after our driver programs, and then we also have a provider called InStep as well. So there are key providers for warehouse programs.
Yeah, perfect. Is there any more questions I've missed? I'm not doing a very good job today.
We'll let you off, Josh. These were dropped in the chat as well.
There's one that says, could students join as well? And I think we have kind of covered this, but if you are currently on a course or in college, you can absolutely apply. You just wouldn't be able to start your apprenticeship until you had finished that course, or you'd finished college, whatever it was that you were doing. You can't be in kind of two sets of learning at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect. And I suppose I've seen a question somewhere about age, and am I right in saying that there's no cap really to applying for an apprenticeship? So maybe could you shed some light on, someone maybe wanting a career change, kind of what advice you'd give them into putting their best foot forward in terms of applying?
Yeah, absolutely. I could cover this one. We get a whole range of ages apply for our programs, so particularly our store management program. So absolutely, our programs are aimed at career starters and career changers. So, we have people who are maybe in their 30s, some that have maybe done a degree, a whole mix of backgrounds that apply for our programs, and there is no age cap either. So yeah, we welcome applications from everybody, no matter your background.
Perfect, thank you very much. So yeah, we're still waiting for some more questions to pop in. Unless I've missed any, please interrupt me if I have. So I suppose I've got another question in terms of like your general day. I know we touched on it a little bit in terms of in store, but as I think I'm right in saying there's multiple different apprenticeships. What would kind of the standard day be on an apprenticeship? Would it be, say, a lot of classroom or a lot of practical? If that question makes sense.
Yeah, do you want me to do it? Yeah. I think that's the beauty of an apprenticeship, that it is a lot of hands-on experience, and I think that guidance goes across every program that you're applying for, whether you're in the stores, warehouse, or whether you're in a national department. So we do say 6 hours off the job each week, but that doesn't necessarily mean 6 hours doing coursework. It can include some coursework and some assignments, but it can be you're on the shop floor and you're putting into practice something that you've learned on your program. It could be that at the end of a shift, you sit down with your store manager or your warehouse manager and talked about something that you've had feedback on, and then you've gone and worked on it, or something that you've shadowed somebody doing. And again, that still counts for that 6 hours off the job, that reflection piece. So that 6 hours is quite flexible, and that goes across all programs. So it doesn't necessarily mean 6 hours every week you're sat doing in a classroom doing work. That 6 hours takes place in the role that you're doing in the department that you're recruited into. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. Is that the answer that you was looking for, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of give us an insight into, what to expect in a more general term. So yeah, that's absolutely perfect. I see that Shaquille's popped in a question about pay. I'd personally say, that website that you did refer to before about that, I imagine the information's there as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right then. So yeah, I still see where I think we're doing pretty well in terms of answering people's questions. I think we've done pretty well so far. I am running out of questions off the top of my head. So is there anything in terms of someone that might be a little bit confused about what to apply for? They might want to be a bit more of a store manager, or they might want to be, kind of in the behind the scenes a bit more. How would you kind of steer someone in a direction? Would it be a case of, what's their preferred kind of likes and dislikes in terms of working world, or would it be more so their kind of academic route that they've came up in? How would you help someone kind of determine where they should or would look?
Yeah, so from a store's perspective, I'd say definitely think about, what environment you want to work in. Are you a people person? Do you like working under pressure? Do you like fast-paced environments? If you're that kind of person, then, you probably would really like our store programs. And of course, if you're not sure, I'm not sure if I want to be a manager or not, I'm not sure what's right for me. Remember, you can just join as a store's career starter, and then if you enjoy that program and you actually get a thirst for it and you think, actually I do want to be a manager, you can then go on to do that program afterwards. So you could always just commit to the store's career starter program, which is just over 12 months, about 12 to 15 months in duration. And then after you've done that, then you might have a better idea, you might have grown in confidence, you might by that point have decided, retail's for me or it's not for me. So that's what I would say. Kelly, have you got anything? And then Molly as well.
Yeah, I think a really good thing to do is, if you're unsure if it's like stores that you're interested in but you're not too sure, go to one of our stores and speak to some of the colleagues. Ask them, they're doing the role. They'll be able to tell you like what it's like, what they do on a daily basis. And I think that'll really then help you think, well, is it for me or is it not? So just by speaking to people and getting their advice, I think that'd be a really good thing to do. And in terms of applying as well, if you did go into store and you spoke to a number of colleagues and then you decided, I definitely want to work in a store, retail is for me, then pop that information on your application form, because that'll make you stand out as well, that you've done that bit of research, and let them know which store it is that you visited and who you spoke to, because again, it's just another way of standing out in terms of that application process. I don't know if you've got anything to add as well, Molly.
I would just say do research, but I didn't know that I was going to love the job that I do now when I applied. Mm-hmm. So it's one of them things as well where if you give it a go, you're 9 times out of 10 going to absolutely love it. So sometimes it is taking that risk. Do you know what? Yeah, it is. So I would just say give it a go, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. Thank you very much. So we are just about to go into the last 5 minutes. I was hoping to kind of get like a closing statement from each of you. you know, you can maybe put a tip and trick in there, or just kind of reminding the viewers about maybe the application process, or maybe where to find extra information, if that's okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to kick off? I'll go. I think we always like to do hints and tips. And I was just thinking of the biggest tip that I like to share. I'm trying to think of which is the best one. I've said to go to stores and speak to people. That always is a standout one. But I think probably the number one thing is, don't be scared if you've got no experience. I think we get that quite a lot, that people are worried about applying, especially for our apprentice programs, that they've got no experience and that they won't get an interview, or if they do get an interview, that we'll trick them and ask them a question about work experience, and that's what we want. We don't. We just want people that are really eager to learn. And it says it on the advert as well, who we're looking for. We don't want work experience. If you've got it, then great, but don't worry about it if you've not, because we're willing to give you that experience and that exposure to learn new skills. You've just got to have the drive and the passion to do it. So I think that's probably my number one tip, is that don't be put off if you've not got that previous work experience. Just apply.
Mine would be, do really seriously consider an apprenticeship. So whether that's with ourselves or another employer, but honestly, you know, university costs are so expensive. An apprenticeship really provides you with that opportunity to gain experience with an employer, which is so valuable to have on your CV. So whether you do continue with that employer after your apprenticeship, it kind of doesn't matter. You're getting qualifications, you're getting paid, and you will be miles ahead of, you know, friends, your peers who might be going down more traditional routes. So yeah, I'd really say apprenticeships are a really great option.
I would also say apprenticeships are a great option, and my top tip would be, don't put too much pressure on yourself at the same time either, because yeah, I had support, but I don't think I used the support as much as I could have. That would probably be my top tip. Just don't put so much pressure on yourself. You've got a massive support system around you, so use it efficiently.
Yeah, perfect, amazing. Thank you very much for that. I think we've answered all the questions that we could have. So I suppose that's all that's left to do is, you know, thank you to you three and to Aldi, you know, for coming along, doing such a great presentation and getting through as many questions as we did. Thank you, you know, to all the viewers that have came on and asked the great questions to be answered. Yeah, perfect. I just want to thank everybody for coming. If you did miss anything, this session was recorded and will be available on Career Map TV on YouTube. We aim to get that set up and posted within the working week. But yeah, that's everything. So thank you very much to everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Thanks so
you,
much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.